Welcome to Conservative Viewpoint, where the truth always matters. Your hosts are Charlie the Country Conservative and Brendan Statler from The Brendan Statler Show. Now on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Conservative Viewpoint. I'm your ringmaster, Charlie the Country Conservative.
And I'm Brendan Statler from The Brendan Statler Show.
We're diving deep into a metaphorical boxing match, one that transcends the political arena and steps into the squared circle. And Wimpkin did not go.
It said it went on the thing.
I hope it starts shortly. And in one corner, we have President Donald Trump, a heavyweight champion of controversy. And in the other corner, the seasoned liar, Joe Biden, who punches may not always land, but he's still confused. Picture it. The arena is packed. The lights are blinding, and the crowd buzzes with anticipation. The bell rings, and here they come. Trump, with his signature combo of Twitter jabs and executive orders, and Biden weaving through policy debates like a seasoned puppet. Round one. The opening salvo. Trump steps forward, fist raised, delivers a right hook, the economy. He boasts about the pandemic, prosperity, tax cuts, and deregulations. But Biden counters with a left jab, the pandemic response. He claims credit for the vaccine that's hurting people and stimulus checks that have raised the deficit, dodging Trump's accusation of sluggishness. And in round two, the verbal sparring. The bells ring, and the candidates retreat to their corners. Trump never once minces words. Tell the sleepy Joe, you're slower than a filibuster. Biden fires back, Donald, your tweets are like windmill punches. Lots of noise and hurts my feelings. Round three, the characters clash. Trump lunges with personal attacks. Hunter Biden, emails, fake news. Biden ducks, pivots, and counters. Donald, your moral compass spins like a roulette wheel. The audience gasps as they grapple over integrity and the Biden family corruption. And in round four, the climate showdown, Trump throws a haymaker challenge, client challenge denial. Biden fumble-footed and falls down. Donald, it's time to face the rising seas. The crowds roar, split between skeptics and believers. So in round five, the final round, both fighters are weary, but they press on. Trump rallies with America first, while Biden invokes racism and division. The bells toll, they embrace a metaphorical hug or clinch. Whichever one you think. You decide. And there you have it, folks. The metaphorical bout of the century. Now, who wins? Well, that's up to you. So, listeners, grab your ringside seat because this political prize fight is just getting started. Welcome to the Conservative Viewpoint, where the truth always matters. I hope you guys had a great Tuesday. And like always, going to ask you guys to check out our Rumble pages. Mine is the Country Conservative, and Brendan's is the Brendan Statler Show. Check out our videos, share our videos with your friends, your family, even our live stream, even your liberal friends. We got to get the truth out to people. Share them on all your social media platforms for us. We need to get the truth out to people because November 5th general election is coming up fast on us. And we need to wake people up to make sure they get out and vote for Trump so we can get this country back. So let's get this show on the road. What's going on, Brendan? What you got for us today?
Okay, this is an article from Just the News. Pro-life activist sentenced to almost 5 years in prison over D.C. clinic blockade. If my phone will cooperate with me. Pro-life activist Lauren Handy was sentenced to 4 years and 9 months in prison on Tuesday for organizing a blockade at an abortion clinic in 2020 in Washington, D.C. The Justice Department requested that Judge Colleen Collar-Catelli sentenced Handy for over 6 years, according to the Washington Examiner. The DOJ further asserted that Handy and other co-defendants planned the crime and advertised it. Handy's attorneys, meanwhile, argued that she had attempted to rescue preborn children from imminent death at the hands of an abortionist who Miss Handy believed performed illegal late-term procedures and that her protests were peaceful. She was convicted last year on 2 charges under the Freedom of Access to Clinical Entrances Act. Handy has a history of protesting abortion at clinics. And that's where the article ends, apparently. So we see plenty of this going on over the last few years. We see many pro-life activists just protesting or simply praying outside abortion clinics, and they are targeted by Biden's Department of Justice. We've seen many examples of this. We all remember the man that had the FBI raid his house when him and his son were protesting outside an abortion clinic near Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and defending his son against a left-wing nutjob that was harassing his young son. I believe his son was 12 years old, if memory serves me correctly. But this is another example of how conservatives, particularly pro-life conservatives, are targeted by Biden's Department of Injustice. We see many examples of how they have targeted conservatives. Just look at the endless number of people that were exercising their First Amendment rights on January 6, 2021, who had done absolutely nothing wrong, that went to Washington, D.C. to petition their government like they are allowed to under the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, have been targeted by the FBI. Many have been thrown into D.C. prisons in just terrible conditions these prisons are in, and that they still have not had their trial. This is what lawfare looks like. You don't have to look at just the many examples of how they're targeting President Trump. You see many examples against civilians that either support Trump or just simply go against what the regime is doing. Even if you simply just speak out against the regime, you are targeted by the Department of Injustice. That's why I say, don't think what they are doing to Donald Trump cannot happen to you, because we see examples of this. This is just another example in a long list of examples we could give you of how the DOJ has targeted conservatives. And that's why we have to go out and we have to elect Donald Trump again to kick all these career criminal politicians that have weaponized the DOJ and the FBI and the CIA, so they cannot target their opponents anymore.
That's right. That's why we got to do what we can do to get Trump back in office. This stuff's got to change, because that's what they're doing to Trump. But here we go in the first article. Lawfare against Trump crumbles. Legal battles fail to derail President Trump's return to the White House. This comes to you from Breitbart News. Opponents wagering lawfare against former President Trump are failing to prevent him from completing the greatest political comeback in history. And the fake news are finally waking up and seeing this. Now, I've got a 49-second video here for you guys to watch on exactly what's happening here. So take a look at this. Yeah, let me find it here.
Because all of this is backfiring, this persecution of President Trump, going after him because of politics. No one in America believes President Trump would be in a trial today if he was not running for president.
Yeah.
They're coming after our democracy.
Yeah.
And it just shows last night with that crowd. You got Lawrence Taylor. You have Democrats in that crowd, independents. I would be very concerned if I was in the White House today.
Governor, what's your reaction to all of this? Do you think people see it that way? And how will this affect the election?
Well, I do agree. This whole strategy of lawfare is backfiring, and it's backfiring in a big way. 3 of the 4 cases have fallen apart. This 4th one is a total show trial. Everyone knows that in any other jurisdiction, this case would not have even been brought.
Now, people are finally coming to realize that the Democrats are trying everything in their power to keep Trump away from the White House. They have been trying these with lies, deceit, and lawlessness. Why? Because that's who the Democrat Party are. They are the party of lawlessness, racism, and division. And the sooner you liberal idiots get this through your head, the better off you're going to be. Because no matter what, they've tried. Trump shatters, things like fundraising record for the 2024 fundraising record. And this comes to you from the American Military News. And I get a lot from them on there. And the Republican National Committee announced on Saturday that President Trump's campaign raised, in the event at Palm Beach, Florida, raised more than $50.5 million, just weeks after the installed Joe Biden raised $25 million while appearing in New York City alongside former racist President Barack Obama and Bill the Hummer Clinton. But I got a minute video for you guys to watch on the campaign fundraising events for both parties. So take a look at this.
Hey, Willie, good morning. Yeah, I mean, former President Trump securing what the RNC tells us was $50.5 million in donation commitments. This at that fundraiser hosted at the home of investor John Paulson. Now, last night, Mr. Trump framed this as a record-setting night that was a sign of a uniting Republican Party. You can see former First Lady Melania attended that Florida event that in part looked to mark Mr. Trump now winning the support of some major Republican donors who have been reluctant to back him. Now, the figures from last night reportedly roughly double what Democrats raised for President Biden at an event last week at Radio City Music Hall, involving, of course, President Biden and former Presidents Obama and Clinton. Now, this weekend, the DNC released their own numbers that show overall in the month of March, President Biden's reelection campaign has outpaced Mr. Trump's, raising $90 million for the month of March alone and $192 million plus in cash on hand by the end of the quarter. The RNC saying Trump raised $65.6 million last month.
Now, this is what the Democrats want you to believe, that Joe Biden is outraising Trump by that much. But the truth of the matter is some of these billionaires are helping them to try to keep Trump from winning also. We also got that dumb twit that Judge Merchan's daughter raising money, making a fortune on the trial alone, and giving them money, giving Trump Biden's campaign money. And this is just to look forward to, because these billionaires aren't doing this out of the goodness of their heart. They're looking forward to having a puppet like Biden stay in office so they can get what they want. If you think that Biden is going to raise taxes on the rich, you're stupid as he is, because you need the people who need to wake up and see the truth. And that's not the Democrats. Democrats want you to believe what they tell you. You know for a fact that Biden's not getting all this money because they're going to dump his lousy ass come whenever the Democrat National Convention is.
I believe it's in August. It's sometime in mid-August. I looked it up earlier today, but I forget the exact date when the Democrat National Convention is. But yeah, this is the reason that Biden or really any Democrat raises so much money is because they have people like George Soros backing them. George Soros is, of course, a globalist. Many globalist billionaires donate to the Democrats because they understand that the Democrats will accomplish the globalist agenda if they are in power long enough. So that is why Biden is raising so much money. I don't think he raised quite that amount of money. But even if he did, it's not going to matter because, like we said, this is not coming from the everyday American who's going to make the difference in the end.
Yeah.
Everyday Americans are with Trump. The real everyday Americans are MAGA. Some of them just don't know it yet. But there's going to be many people that go out and vote for Trump that wouldn't have voted for Trump 4 years ago, that didn't vote for Trump 4 years ago, that didn't even vote for Trump 8 years ago, because they see that everything that Trump was saying that the media dismissed as him being crazy and unhinged, stuff like that he's being targeted and that they're plotting against him and that they spied on his campaign. A lot of the stuff that we have now found out is true that the people have seen. And through this political persecution, through these Moscow show trials that we see every day on the news, that's all the news has been talking about, is these trials that aren't going anywhere. People understand that he is being targeted. Trump isn't sounding so crazy. And another reason that Trump is winning over so many people is because everything Trump said would happen if Joe Biden was in the White House has come true.
Yep.
And people remember this. People remember this, that everything he said would happen has, in fact, happened. So people are starting to see the game that the deep state is playing, that they have been playing for a very long time, actually. But now it's just out in the open. They're not hiding it anymore. People recognize this. So Biden and the Democrats could raise all the money they want against Trump. It's really not going to make a difference in the end because it's not money that wins elections. It's votes. I understand you have to raise money for campaigns, but at the end of the day, it's votes. And people are going to go out and vote for Trump.
Hopefully. So we got to go back to my not so favorite person, Bill Maher. Says the Democrats have blown it in every turn to put Donald Trump behind bars. The Democrats have had 4 years to put Trump on trial, and it's all just going away. They blew it in every turn, Maher said. Now I'm going to let you listen to him himself say this. The 55-second video of him saying, and I'm no fan of his, but this is the second time in a row he's made some sense. Listen to this.
Bill Maher says Dems blew it at every turn to put Donald Trump behind bars. The Democrats have had 4 years to put Trump on trial, and it is all just going away. They blew it at every turn, said Maher. In a tweet on X by a citizen journalist known as the Vigilant Fox, he credits Bill Maher, host of HBO's Real Time with Bill Maher, for dropping an unexpected bomb on Democrats' fading hope to jail Trump. The Democrats have had 4 years to put Trump on trial, and it is all just going away. They blew it at every turn. He quotes Maher as saying on his show Friday night. He continues on quoting Maher. 1. Fani Willis is having an affair with the guy she hired, and now that one's going to be delayed. 2. The stolen documents one. That's never going to happen. 3. Stormy Daniels, is a bad witness. Asterisk in 2018, Daniels described her encounter with Trump as consensual. Now she's using Me Too buzzwords to suggest the opposite. Take a listen to what Daniels said then versus what she says now.
Yeah, we showed that one yesterday, and she's just a lying twit anyways on there. But now I've told you before that he's not my favorite person of mine, but these past couple of times he's finally waking up and seeing the truth, which I hope all you liberals do also, and get out and vote for Trump come November 5th, because if not, we're going to lose this country. But
yeah, absolutely.
You still have some stupid ass Democrats out there, that are still going to do it. And I know some of them personally, and they just vote Democrats, straight party. So,
yeah, I know a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but the people I know that are going to vote for Biden aren't voting for Biden. They're voting against Trump. They're just so unhinged and they're they're having a very tough battle with a very serious disease known as TDS, in other words, Trump derangement syndrome. They
Yeah.
can't say why they don't like Trump, and the only reason they dislike Trump is this: they lack critical thinking. They can't think for themselves. They hear on TV that Trump is this evil person that's that's dangerous to the nation, and he's a racist, he's a xenophobe, and all that. He's a rapist, all this other shit you see throughout the media that we all know is bullshit.
Yeah.
But they believe it just because the way
Somebody
these
says it.
the way these people's minds are wired is, if they're saying it on CNN, it's got to be true. If they're saying it on MSNBC, it's got to be true. Even some people, if it's on Fox News, it's got to be true. That this is just the way that some of these people think. If their TV says it, that's the opinion they develop. They don't actually look at anything that's going on. They don't think outside the box. No, they don't. All they know to do is parrot, and that is the vast majority of the left, because a lot of the smart people on the left, like we've talked about before, that aren't necessarily conservatives, a lot of them are coming out to vote for Trump. I've seen a lot of stuff where there are people that consider themselves liberals, and they say they're voting for Trump because they see that everything that Trump said is true. Everything that he said in the past has come true, and they see how he's being targeted. So this is a movement that is going on both sides of the political aisle. This is no longer Republican versus Democrat anymore. We don't just use that term just to let you know that both parties suck. You should already know that both parties suck. But the reason that I'm saying that now is because this isn't just Republicans that are going to vote for Trump. This isn't just conservatives that are going to vote for Trump. I mean, this is a movement that is spreading out along many demographics, Republican, Democrat, gay, straight, white, black, Asian, whatever. There are going to be many people, many diverse people voting for Trump this election. I'm telling you, if the American people do their job, this is going to be a landslide victory. It's not even going to be close if we do our job, despite the steal, because they're going to try to steal it. But if we do our job the way things are going right now, there is no possible way Trump loses this election.
Oh, you got that right. That's for sure. Check out chat. But you still have some Democrats, that are stupid, like this one that's talking about alien cannon harming national security in the Donald Trump case in Florida. Now, you got this idiot, Barbara McQuade, a former U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Michigan, made a claim about the Judge Aileen Cannon in the wake of her postponing proceedings in which Trump has pled not guilty to 40 federal charges for the foreseeable future, and potentially until after the 2024 election. Well, the Democrats don't like the fact that she is following the law and not doing what they want these judges to do, like the ones, in New York and Georgia, with all the fake charges that are falling apart right in front of their eyes. The Democrats are so desperate, they'll stoop at nothing to steal this election in every election from here on out. This is why we talk to you every weeknight about the general election coming up in November. So you guys help us get the truth out to people, wake them up, and to show them how corrupt this Democrat Party really is. And we have another, I don't know if you've seen all that crap. I mean, if you just turn on a TV or you turn on the internet, you'll see, what the Democrats are up to with all these bullshit trials that they're putting Trump through. But now we got another example of how low the Democrats will stoop. We've got California's Attorney General Bonta is preparing lawsuits to stop Trump's agenda if he wins the presidency. Now, you're telling me that they are going to make up. Now, this shows me that they're going to make up a crime and then they're going to find a criminal, just like they're doing with Trump right now. So this attorney general from California, this Rob Bonta, whatever his stupid ass name is preparing a barrage of lawsuits in the event that President Trump wins the 2024 election, saying they're studying his agenda and planning to stop it in advance in a repeat of 2017 to 2021. Now, I just got done saying this, that they're making up a crime without a criminal. So this is just a repeat of what they're doing right now, but it's going to happen in 2024. Now, you idiot liberals better wake up and see this proves everything that we've been talking about forever. How the hell are you going to prepare a lawsuit of knowing what Trump is going to break, what laws he's going to break in 2024 when he becomes president? This is bullshit, and it needs to be stopped now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They're looking for a crime, as you said. I mean, there's no other way to justify that. But I mean, that's kind of what they're doing right now, because if you think about it, in many of these cases, particularly the Stormy Daniels case that's getting 24/7 news coverage at the moment, we still don't know what Donald Trump has been charged with. We don't know what crime he allegedly committed. When you ask this, they can never give an answer. Even it's bad when CNN is going back and forth with their panel when they're debating what the charges are. I mean, come on. I mean, they're trying to find a crime. I'm telling you what, Donald Trump is either one of the cleanest people in the history of the world, or he is one of the smartest, and he covered his tracks in every which way, because they cannot find anything on this guy. This has been going on since 2016. Them trying to take him down any which way possible. And how many cases or controversies, if you want to call them that, have we been through with Trump in that period of time? And they haven't been able to get him on anything. It is so bad. I'm telling you what, if I was a Democrat, it's no wonder Democrats are going absolute ape shit right now, because I would be too if I was completely anti-Trump. Because no matter what they do, they cannot find anything on this guy. Like I said, we don't even know what crime he allegedly committed in this Stormy Daniels case. They can't. Nobody can figure it out, because they're just picking through it, trying to see if there's something they could possibly jump at. And they haven't found it to this point. If they haven't found it to this point, they're not going to. This is just something to take up news time and create a narrative against Donald Trump. But I'm telling you, it's not going to work. This is backfiring tremendously, as we've shown quite a bit through this show, in previous shows. This is completely backfiring on the deep state.
Oh, most definitely. But at least we have one state that's willing to stand up to Trump and this corrupt DOJ. Missouri Attorney General demands DOJ, let me put the headline up here, provide communications relating to the illicit persecutions of President Trump. At least this guy is willing to stand up and admit and show everyone that the DOJ has been weaponized by Biden and the Democrats. Now, I got a 1-minute video here for you of showing the governor from Missouri and what he has to say on this. Listen to this.
Sir, do you believe the prosecutions have been coordinated by the Justice Department? Because I guess that's a no-no.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We have every reason to believe that this is a coordinated political attack emanating from Biden's corrupt Department of Justice, serving as the headquarters and now deploying personnel in a political campaign against President Trump in a form of election interference. Look, we knew that the cases themselves were illicit witch hunt prosecutions, but now we have every reason to believe that the prosecutors themselves are illicitly motivated as well. Number one, by bringing frivolous suits not supported by the facts or the law, but number two, because they are politically motivated in violation of their canons of professional conduct. We know that Matthew Colangelo was a top Biden official at his corrupt Department of Justice and has now gone to work for and is leading the prosecution for Alvin Bragg's office against President Trump. This is a level of collusion never seen before between a corrupt Department of Justice and illicitly motivated state prosecutors. And we've got to scrutinize that and hold the individuals accountable.
Now, at least we've got some Republican states sticking up for the disgusting display that the Democrats have been putting Trump through since he walked down that escalator in 2016. It's time for the persecution of Trump to stop. And come November 5th, we will put a stop to it.
Absolutely. And it's you would think after a while, though, that the Democrats would back off. I mean, they have to recognize how much this has backfired. And now they're talking about possibly throwing Trump in jail because of the judge held him in contempt for supposedly violating the gag order, which is complete bullshit in itself, because everybody else is allowed to talk to the case and leak to the media, but Trump's not allowed to say a word, apparently. Yep. Just shows how fair and balanced this case is. But anyway, they're talking about throwing him in jail. Like I mentioned before, you saw how much his popularity grew just from the mugshot in Georgia. Can you imagine if they actually put him in handcuffs, put him in an orange jumpsuit, and put him in a jail cell? I'm telling you that there is part of me, and this is terrible to say because I truly do feel bad for the man and everything he's going through. But part of me kind of wants to see him go to jail for a couple hours and just get those shots. Because if that happens, this election is over. If it's not already over, it is completely over at that point. If that happens, I mean, if he gets locked up, he'll be out in a couple hours. But man, just to have those snapshots of him in handcuffs being hauled off to jail, man, election would be over. Trump would win by even more than he will now if that doesn't happen.
Well, he said this in New Jersey the other day. According to Trump, and I'll quote, "I'm going to be indicted into the White House." So he said it himself, and this comes to you guys from Newsmax, and mocking what he calls installed President Joe Biden's weaponization of justice against his political opponents. Presumptive Republican presidential nominee President Donald Trump trolled his rival for indicting him into the White House, and he's not wrong every time for this pathetic excuse for a Democrat party makes up a crime against Trump. They fail. I don't know what more it's going to take to wake you liberal idiots up, but if you watch his rallies, like in New Jersey the other day, he had between 80 to 100,000 people in the crowd in a blue state. That's got to tell you something. If it doesn't, just go back to your basements and stay there, because that's where you'll never be able to see the truth. And because if you look on a Biden one, you're going to see maybe 100 people, couple hundred people at the most. Joe Biden is pathetic, and they're going to toss him. If it's not as early as June, they're going to dump his ass for somebody else.
I agree. In many of these Biden rallies, if you can even call them rallies with the small number, the majority of people that are there are DNC donors, or they're part of the Biden team. And the rest is all the press that is there. That this guy can't get anybody. And this is part of the reason they did COVID, in my opinion, was so they could have an excuse for not a lot of people showing up to his events during the election of 2020. Because if you remember, they had the stupid circles drawn. Maybe there were 10 circles or whatever for people to sit and come listen to him stutter and stammer through his speech. Mm-hmm. They couldn't even fill the circles, but he somehow got 81 million votes. And now we see this. More people are that there's really nothing going on with COVID anymore, at least not yet. I think that's coming back soon. But now that people are going out, you got people going to concerts and sporting events and everything else, but more people are going out now. He still cannot draw a crowd. He really can't. Like you said, there's maybe 100 people at one of his events, and most of them are part of his team.
Right.
And Trump goes, and it's massive numbers of people. It's thousands upon thousands of people. They're just listening to Trump speak. And, Trump goes to the bodega in New York. He goes to the fire department in New York. He goes to the Miami Grand Prix. He goes to all these different events. And the people that are coming up and talking to him, shaking his hand, just wanting to take a picture with him, all this stuff. A lot of people. Biden goes to a Sheetz and a Wawa here while he's in Pennsylvania. Nobody pays any attention to him, but this guy got 81 million votes in 2020, completely blew away Barack Obama's number, and everybody else that we, every other president we've had throughout history, but particularly blew away Barack Obama's numbers. I'm not buying it.
No, but I just read an article today that they're thinking about doing the Democrat National Convention virtually, and I think this is an excuse. They don't want the public to see nobody show up.
Right. My God.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just read it and I deleted the article because I think it's bullshit, and I think it's just a way for them just to trick people into thinking, well, we got this huge ass crowd and we can't fit everybody in. So they're using the excuse that they don't want the protesters to be there, so they want to do it virtually. That's like a sad excuse for a piece of shit Democrat Party. I don't care.
You're worried about protests. I mean, if many Americans approve of you like you claim they do, it shouldn't matter protests. You should be coming out and speaking in front of the people. I mean, if they really have this support that they claim that they do, then the number of support should really outweigh the number of people that oppose you. I mean, and like I said before, I mentioned this on one of the other shows we did. If Biden truly got 81 million votes in 2020, why doesn't him or anyone else in his team ever mention that? That would be something to tout, wouldn't it, Charlie? If you got more votes,
they haven't said a word.
They don't, because it didn't happen.
Right.
It was all a lie.
Yeah, they're pathetic. But you want to know about pathetic. Now Biden is so desperate, and this has got to be coming from his handlers, because he can't think good enough to say this, but he has to resort to a lie that has already been debunked about Trump, saying that people needed to inject themselves with bleach. You remember that?
I know.
That's something that's been debunked. It's been thrown in the freaking trash can. It's not what he said. But of course, Biden has to run his mouth, and his handlers put it down there. Biden says Trump should have injected himself with bleach. Wish he had done it, a little bit of it. Oh yeah.
The thing with this is, I remember when Trump said this, and he was saying it sarcastically, and anyone with half a brain knows he was saying it sarcastically. And honestly,
if you talking to a doctor.
Yeah, well, honestly, if you were stupid enough to actually inject yourself with bleach, I don't know if anybody actually did it, but if you're dumb enough to, if you're actually dumb enough to do that, you deserve to die. I mean, I'm just being honest. If you're that stupid that you really think that injecting bleach into yourself is going to help you, I mean, he
was asking a doctor that was standing off camera, because if you guys look it up, bleach kills AIDS. So he was saying something. He said something in the room, and I can't remember the exact words, but he said something. Can't we do something like that, like with bleach that kills everything? That's what he said. And then they took it totally out of context and run with this story like the assholes that they are, and turned it all around saying, "Oh, he did the bleach." Well, yeah, like you said, they're idiots if they do that and could do it. And some of them stupid, like eating those Tide Pod things.
I was just going to bring that up. You read my mind. I was going to say we really shouldn't have stopped these people from eating Tide Pods. We should have just let nature run its course.
That's right, because the liberals are so damn stupid.
Because that's where all this started. It seems like. I mean, we should just let them continue doing what they were doing and snorting condoms. You remember that they were snorting the condoms up and pulling them out of their throat. We should just let them continue. We should just let them continue.
I saw something where they were eating the weirdest stuff. Like some people would eat soap powder.
Is that My Strange Addiction? That stupid show
yeah,
was
that's
on?
it.
Yeah.
And some one of them would eat toilet paper, and there was some stupid. Them are Democrat voters.
Yeah.
So okay, where was I at?
We were talking about the Trump telling people to inject bleach. That stupid story.
Biden said this during a fundraiser in San Francisco, California. Go figure. In San Francisco, California, that he wished Trump would inject himself. Now, this goes to show you the desperation of the Democrats and Joe Biden, because they know they're losing the battle for the White House. But it doesn't get any better now, because Ashley Biden officially confirms that her diary, it was hers, where she talks about showering with my daddy, Joe Biden. And she made this letter, an emotional letter to the judge. In a letter dated April 8th, 2024, so that's only last month, addressed to Chief Judge Swain of New York, Ashley Biden, daughter of Joe Biden, confirmed the authenticity of her previously stolen diary. The diary, which has sparked considerable public media attention due to Joe Biden's perverted acts, became a subject of controversy when the excerpts were leaked online. Ashley Biden's letter, obtained by the New York Times, was submitted as part of the judicial proceeding. So this is all in courts now, against Amy Harris, one of the individuals convicted of stealing and selling her personal journal. Now, this just goes to prove now for a fact that Joe Biden is a pedophile, along with the sniffing of the kids that he does right on TV in front of the whole world to see. And it just goes to show you how the Democrat Party are a party of pedophiles, and why they are pushing for these nasty ass books in the school libraries that talks about sex to all these little kids and other shit that shouldn't be in there, and they shouldn't be talking to little kids about them. And if you are backing this kind of act from the Democrats, you are definitely the problem, and you should never show your face in public again.
I agree 100%. And did anybody really doubt that this diary was real? I mean, just look at how this guy acts around young girls. He goes up and he basically gropes them and he sniffs them. I mean, it's just weird. This is not how a normal adult interacts with young children, particularly young girls. I mean, it's weird. That's the only word for it. It's weird. This guy's so demented to this point. He doesn't know how to shut that behavior off. I mean, I have absolutely no doubt that he showered with his daughter, and in all honesty, probably sexually abused her on a few occasions, I'm sure. I believe she wrote about that in her diary as well.
Yep.
So, I have absolutely no doubt about this. I mean, you just look at the actions of this guy. I mean, everything about him screams pedophile. I mean, this guy looks like at one point he would have driven a white van asking kids if they could help him find his puppy. Yeah. Help him find his puppy. I mean, the guy's just a weirdo. Anybody that would allow their young daughter within 50 yards of this guy is out of their freaking mind.
Exactly. And I mean, before I retired from the prison system, we had pedophiles in there that are in there for less than that. So they're doing time for doing less than showering with their own daughter or just showing a picture, naked picture to a kid. They're in prison for that. And this man does this stuff right on TV, and everybody sees it, and he's still in the White House. I just don't get it.
I don't
But
know.
now it's like we got David Axelrod saying that he was a longtime strategist and senior advisor to former racist President Barack Obama, criticized President Joe Biden for his economic messaging, that his pride was going to cost him the White House. Well, I'm sorry. It's not his pride that's going to cost him the White House. It's his actions, his failed policies, his kid sniffing, women feeling, plagiarizing, mashed potato for brains dementia that's going to cause him to lose the White House. Not his pride.
Yeah, wouldn't you have to do something good or positive to be prideful? I mean,
the man has
name me one positive thing that Joe Biden has done. Really, we don't even have to say his illegitimate presidency. We could go all the way back to his days as a senator. What's one positive thing that he has done? I certainly can't think of any. I mean, but particularly, let's just go back to 2008 when he became vice president to now. Name one positive thing that he has done. If anybody wants to leave it in the chat, feel free, because Charlie, can you think of anything? Because I'm stumped on this.
No, because he has been nothing but a failure and a failure after his foreign policies failed. His economists are the worst in the world. There's nothing that this man has done in the 50 plus years that he's been in the government. There's nothing he's done that's been good. And like we've told liberals before, they could come on. That's why we put the link in there in the chat. If you want to come on and try to prove us wrong, please. That's why we put the link in there. Come on and prove us wrong. I'll give you a win if you could prove me wrong. But you're too damn chicken to do it. So I don't want to hear it from you.
Yeah, you want me to read the chat real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know who this is from. I don't think this is Harold. I don't recognize this name. Okay.
I know him.
Okay, you know him? Okay, he says, think back years ago when John Kerry ran. Who was his biggest celebrity supporter? Puff Daddy. Now look at him. Shit's been in the Democrat Party for years. Absolutely.
And look what he's done. Right. He's getting in trouble for all that shit with kids and everything, and sexual assaults and stuff like that. So you got that right. And that's just part of the Democrat Party. That's who they are. Now, for the last thing on my agenda for tonight is the Justice Department rebuked for delay tactics in the Biden-Hers recordings pursuant to the judge's order. Now, the DOJ is still defying a court order to release the special counsel Robert Hur's recordings of Joe Biden's testimony. And the Judicial Watch sued them through the Freedom of Information Act request. And the DOJ still will not give out what the judge told them to. They continue their lawlessness of defying a court order. So now they're hiding something. When they're going through all this hassle to try to hide those recordings, there's something in there. Because if there wasn't, they would say, okay, here you go. But even after a judge orders them to give it to them, they're not giving it to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, if there's nothing to hide, if everything is on the up and up, then why wouldn't you want to release the audio to completely clear yourself? Right. It doesn't make any sense. You won't release the audio documents. Well, obviously you're hiding something. I mean, that's just common sense. So, it's not really surprising coming from these people. I mean, we know every one of these pricks are completely corrupt. They're all criminals. Mm-hmm. And nobody holds them accountable. That is the problem. We don't have true journalism in this country anymore. It's all propaganda. It's all propaganda networks. Yep. So these people can defy orders from judges. We've seen Biden defy orders from judges, many times, especially when it comes to this student loan bullshit that he's trying to pass all the debt on to everybody else that didn't go to college. So you can now pay for somebody learning about gender queer studies and everything else. And the kick in the ass, many of them are sleeping in tents and on campus now. They're not even going to class. So how does that make the taxpayer feel? But
exactly.
Anyway, it's not a surprise. These people, they really believe that the rules don't apply to them because, quite frankly, they don't at the moment. If one of us defied a judge's order like these people do, we would be going to jail right now.
Well,
but these people get away with it.
What was that black woman name that looks like Chewbacca?
That could be. I'm at first. I want to say Lizzo.
No,
but Whoopi Goldberg. Oh wait, I shouldn't say that. That's Charlie's girlfriend. I can't say that.
Yeah, she's a Democrat, and she got on TV and said after Roe v. Wade was reversed.
Maxine Waters.
Yeah, she got on there and said, "The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them." Right on camera.
That was very mean to say about Chewbacca.
I know. I'm sorry, Chewbacca. I didn't mean to downgrade you like that. You pretty. She the sure the hell's not. But hey, all right, there you have it, dear listeners. The metaphorical dust settles, the bell tolls, and our containers retreat to their corners. Whether you're in the red corner or a blue corner, remember this: democracy is a marathon, not just a match. Thanks for tuning in to the Conservative Viewpoint. Until tomorrow night, keep your convictions strong and your discourse civil. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for another great episode of the Conservative Viewpoint. Don't forget to check out our Rumble pages. Mine is at Country Conservative, and Brendan's into the Brendan Statler Show. Don't forget to follow us. Hit that thumbs up. It helps our channel grow. So until tomorrow night, everyone, please have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. God bless.